Hi YouTube friends! If you went live tonight with a messy background, there is a good chance that you're using a method that's working against your hardware. Because there are 5 different ways to remove your background inside OBS right now, and depending upon your GPU, your setup, or your budget, one of them is clearly the right choice for you. However, the others are just eating your resources for no reason. And I've tested all of them. By the end of this, you're gonna know which one is right for you. But that is a lot to get to, so you know what? Let's get to it! So here's what we're gonna cover in this video. 5 methods, some built directly into OBS and some require a free plugin, one involves some tools, and some that you might already be running. But for each one, I'm going to show you how it works, what the actual output looks like, and give you the honest trade-offs, the pros and cons. And then, of course, at the end, I'm going to tie it all up and tell you which one is best for you, because the differences between these are bigger than most people actually realize. Let's start with the one that everyone already knows. Method 1, the original. The built-in chroma key filter in OBS with a physical green screen. This happens to be a portable one you can get pretty cheap on Amazon. There are no plugins, there's no downloads, there's no GPU requirements. You hang the green screen behind you, add the filter to your camera source, and OBS removes every pixel that matches that green color. Now here's the thing about actually using a green screen. The quality ceiling is actually the highest of everything on this list, if your green screen is properly lit. And I don't mean if your green screen had a couple of beers. No, I mean you actually have to have the lighting properly to make sure that it works properly. Even lighting with no wrinkles, no green spill on your skin or clothes, and the edge quality that you're gonna get is genuinely hard to beat. It also uses basically no processing cycles at all compared to everything else. Now the problems show up when the setup isn't perfect. Wrinkles create uneven color distribution, so you get patchy removal. Uneven lighting does the same thing, and if your space is small, a green screen might not even be physically practical. Now my space is pretty small, and that usually has a direct effect on how easy it is to actually light it. Now the other thing is a physical green screen is binary. If it's up, it's on. You can't switch back and forth from having a background to not having a background very easily. So the pros, it's already inside OBS. There are 0 downloads, 0 GPU overhead. It's pure color math. So it runs literally on any machine, and the quality potential is by far the highest on this list. Now the cons are you need a physical screen, you need the space, and you need consistent lighting. And if you wear anything that's even close to the same color green, well, that part of your shirt's gonna disappear too. So be aware of that. Method number 2. If you're running an NVIDIA RTX GPU, you have a purpose-built AI background removal tool, and a lot of streamers don't know it's even there. Now the way to access it is gonna be through OBS, but you have to install the free app that NVIDIA ships for RTX owners. You're going to want to download and install the video effects for the proper card that you have right here. Now once you install it, you can just add it as a filter on your camera source. So why does this work so well? RTX cards have dedicated Tensor cores. That's specialized AI processing hardware separate from the GPU cores running your game or your stream. NVIDIA is specifically routing the background removal through these cores, so the performance impact to your actual system is low. Now that could be complete BS, but that's why AI says this works, so there you go. Now one thing is for sure, the output quality is genuinely impressive. Where it struggles is fast movement and backgrounds that share similar tones to your skin or clothing. So the pros, it's got excellent edge quality, especially on difficult subjects like hair, low performance impact due to dedicated hardware, no physical green screen, free for RTX owners, and it can be turned on and off super quickly. The cons, you need an RTX GPU, which needless to say can be expensive. So if you're on a GTX or an AMD option or an Intel option or any other kind of chipset graphics card, this option doesn't exist for you. It does use VRAM, which can be noticeable on an 8GB setup running demanding games. Complex backgrounds can confuse the AI and produce artifacts. Now, what if you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card or you want more control over the actual model running the AI? That's where this next option comes in, and it works on any hardware. Method 3. This is the free open source OBS plugin called OBS Background Removal. Now the plugin runs AI segmentation models directly inside OBS as a filter. The same idea as NVIDIA's approach without the RTX requirement. You have model options with a lighter model for lower spec machines and more accurate models if you have a GPU with headroom to spare. You can also adjust the segmentation threshold to tighten or loosen how aggressively it cuts your edges. Built into the same plugin is a background blur mode. Instead of cutting the background out entirely, it blurs it. It's kind of like the phone portrait mode. Here is the page, link in the description. Go to the download page. And here we've got a couple of different Windows ones. We've got Mac OS and of course Linux. I'm just going to use the Windows zip file here. I'm just going to download it and go into our downloads. I'm going to right click and extract all. And once we go in here, we have some install instructions. Here's how they want you to install it. Let's see if this actually works. We're going to go into our background removal that we unzipped right here. And we have our OBS background removal. And I'm going to have another window open right here. And you can see we are in C, our local disk. If we scroll down here, we've got our program files and our program files 86. And then we have our program data. Now this could be hidden from you. This is kind of like a hidden folder. So if you don't see program data, you might have to go in here and then go into options and make sure that you have show hidden files. Right here, show hidden files and folders. If you don't have that, then you may not actually see this program data folder. But we're just gonna go into our program data folder and we're gonna scroll down to OBS-Studio and here we see it. We've got a plugins and a shader cache. We're gonna go into our plugins folder and we're just gonna copy this in there. And boom, so now it should be proper. Now here's the thing. I don't know what this means for portable installations of OBS. If you installed your OBS on a portable installation, this probably isn't going to work, but they don't offer any kind of specific solution for that either. So I'm just showing you how to install it on Windows the best way that I know how. So there we go. All right, so I got my background lights turned off for this because, well, they just confuse things. We just go right here to camera. We go into our filters, click the plus. We're gonna go to background removal. Boom, there we go. Our background is missing. I could just click OK and go in here. We're gonna add a source. We'll just add media source. Boom, expand it, boom, move it below, boom. And there we go. So you can see what we get here. Now we can make the result better. We'll just select the camera here and go into filters and select this, and then we can go into advanced settings, and there are a lot of ways to improve the results that you're getting here. And we can go down here and select different models. So if we don't like how media pipe works, or if it's using too much background CPUs, we can select a completely different model and see how it works for you and see what it works like on your computer. Now generally MediaPipe is pretty good, and this also gives you the ability to select your CPU threads and how many it's using and all that kind of stuff. So obviously the more clock cycles you give it, the better off or the more advanced you're gonna see. But you can see that this is going to take a little bit of work to get it to give the kind of results that you're really going to like. But you can get the kind of results you're really going to like out of it if you work with it, just like anything else. And then you've also got this background blur thing here where we can just adjust this up and it will blur the background. And of course that's pretty effective if I put my lights on, because that'll add a lens flare and that sort of stuff to those background lights. Now the pros for the OBS plugin: it's completely free, it's open source, It works on any hardware. It has multiple AI model options for different tiers of machine. It does removal, blur, and low light enhancement all in one. And of course, it can be turned on and off instantly, and it's actively maintained. Now the cons. You're going to have a higher CPU or GPU load than NVIDIA's hardware accelerated version. Edge quality on the hair and fine details sits slightly below the NVIDIA RTX in ideal conditions, and installation can cause a problem for some people. Now let's talk about method number 4. StreamFog has its own built-in background removal, and this one is relevant because a lot of you watching are already using it. If you're already using StreamFog for overlays or stream alerts or stream features, keeping background removal inside the same tool, well, it just makes sense. It's one less thing running in OBS. So we're gonna quickly install StreamFog. Got Windows. I believe there's a Mac version as well. Just click on that. It actually downloads it to your system. We're gonna go right here and click yes to open it up. Otherwise, you can just come in here and open it up and click install. Now take a look down here. You can see that it gives you some information just in case you have some problems installing it. It could be blocked by your antivirus or something like that. Now that it's installed, we just have to launch. So boom, pretty simple. So once we get in here, we can explore, and we're gonna go and find the green screen one, and that's this one right here. We're just gonna add it to our assets, and then we can go into our assets and find our green screen and select it, and there we go. So we can see we got the green screen. All we have to do is add this in. We're gonna go in here to our camera, and we are gonna remove this camera, and what I'm gonna do is click the plus, and we're going to add a virtual camera, which is gonna be the same thing. So we can just go to video capture device, and we'll call this vert, and we'll just drop this down and select our StreamFog virtual camera. Click OK, and we'll bring this down here like this, and the I agree is actually showing up on our StreamFog, so we just have to click that right there, and there we go. So now we can go back in here, and you can see we've got the green screen. So all we have to do is right click, go to filters, and we can just add the chroma. Boom, boom, close, and now there we go. So it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but if you already have StreamFog, what the heck? And by the way, this is going to take up clock cycles on your computer. It's not going to have problems running or anything like that. It doesn't slow anything down, so it's a pretty good solution. Now you can see I added the virtual camera. That did not add an audio source. So I could right click, go into properties, and I'm going to go down here and select my audio source by using a custom audio device. And right there, HDMI cam link, boom, okay. So now I have my audio source right there. It's really that simple, and we've got a background removed. Perfect? Nope. Free? Yup. And also does not really tax your system all that much. And there are a lot of features and stuff that StreamFog has. Maybe if you're going to use it, you're going to want to check those out, because there's so much more that it does besides just remove your background. So I'll link a video that'll tell you a lot more at the end. The pros. It's a good removal quality. There are no additional plugins needed if you're already running StreamFog, and it keeps your workflow consolidated. Regular updates are always coming, and of course, you can instantly turn it on or off. Now the cons are that, well, you can use a virtual camera to add it, which adds complexity. This also introduces potentially a small amount of latency compared to direct OBS filters. Now, if you're not already using StreamFog for other reasons, the free plugin method from option 3 is probably a smarter starting point. Unless, of course, you're looking for all the other features of StreamFog. Now, the last category is one most streamers don't even think about. Background removal that lives inside your webcam's own software. That's method 5. If you're running an Obsbot camera, and I've covered the Tiny 3 extensively on this channel, Obsbot's Champion app has built-in background removal that processes all the hardware or software levels before OBS even touches the signal. Elgato's camera hub for face cam owners does something pretty similar. So we played around with this just a little bit. This is the Obsbot Center. You can see that the second that I kick it on, it already blurs the background on me. If we just select the beauty effects here, we can turn the blur effect off, and boom, there we go. So now you can see what we've got, and I can zoom in and do all that stuff, but I'm not really worried about that at the moment. We're just gonna put on background replacement, and you can see that there could be all different sorts of backgrounds that we replace it, and because of my lighting, it's kind of acting a little weird, but we could just do the black. We are gonna turn on our virtual camera, and then we're gonna go here and click on beauty, and we're going to go and scroll down to background replacement. We're just gonna turn that on, and there we go. So now we've got our background replaced. We're gonna have to turn off our preview, and what we're gonna do is just go into our OBS, and click the plus, and we're gonna go into a virtual capture device, and we're gonna call this one Obsbot. Click OK, and we're going to go ahead and drop it down and select our Obsbot virtual camera, and then we're going to click OK. Now you can see the problem. This just applies the black background. So what we want to do is go back over here, and we're going to go into our beauty. So we do not personally currently have a green or a blue screen present. However, what we can do is we can add a green screen here. We're just gonna go to the pixel editor, and we're gonna create a new image, and it's gonna be 1080, 1920 by 1080. We're gonna call it green. Then all we're gonna do is use this and fill. We're gonna go up to File, Export. We'll just call this green PNG. Click Save. Now all we have to do here is click the plus, go to our downloads, click the green, and click Open, and OK. So now we've got green. Background replacement, and there we go. So we've got green. You can see what this looks like. It's not great, it's not perfect, but it is free if you have an Obsbot camera. So we've got green selected there. If we go into our Obsbot virtual camera, go into filters, you can see I've got the Chroma key on. So that's what it looks like otherwise. And it'd probably be better if I was lit. I don't usually light myself super bright. So if I lit myself better, it would be better. But we go into filters, we turn on the chroma key, and we add the chroma key, and there we go. Now the pros are that there is no GPU load on the PC at all. It works at the source before OBS even sees the signal. It integrates naturally into your existing camera workflow, and it's got an instant on and off, which I like. The cons are it's only available on specific camera brands and models, and the quality varies by manufacturer. It also requires that manufacturer's companion software that has to be running in the background, which of course takes up clock cycles. Alright, so let's make this a simple decision. You have a physical green screen with good lighting, use OBS Chroma key. Already built in and nothing to install, and the quality ceiling is by far the highest of anything on this list. So if you have a real green screen, it's the one to go for. However, if you have an NVIDIA RTX GPU, you want to start with the NVIDIA Broadcast free for RTX owners. It's pretty much the second best quality you're going to see with almost no overhead. If you don't have an RTX card or you want more control, the OBS background removal plugin is the next best option. I really like that it's free, and you can also use blur mode that will blur your background and make your camera look more like a DSLR, which is cool. Now for those of you out there who are already using StreamFog, it just makes sense to use the background removal filter that they already have. It works great, looks pretty good, and you're already using it. Now for those of you who are running Obsbot or Elgato cameras, the apps work pretty well, and there is not a lot of CPU intensive issues involved with using them. I want to know which method you're running. Let me know about it in the comments. And if you run into a specific issue with any of these that I didn't cover here, well, drop the message below, and maybe that's where our next video will come from. Now, if you want to see my end-to-end filming process, you should probably check out this video. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Fire Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.